right, we're back at it with another Build Bio. And today, we got something super interesting and something we could all relate to. A car that was built right at home. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, Vin?
What's up,
nice
man?
to meet you.
Who are you and what do you have here?
I'm Kyle Kuhnhausen, and I built this Datsun 240Z out of my dad's two-car garage over the course of about 5 years.
Oh man, this is super interesting. We see a lot of 240Zs come by the show. They all take their own shape and form, but this thing is super cool. What did you build it for?
So it's not my car. I built it for a customer, and the kind of premise was he wants to be able to drive 2 hours. We're out of Eugene, Oregon, up to Portland International Raceway, race track days, maybe go to the Ridge up in Washington, and be able to drive home, you know.
We're gonna get into the interior later because you said it's drivable on the street 2 hours to and from the track.
Absolutely.
And as of right now, I don't really believe that. Take us through the outside a little bit.
I wanted to do something different than the normal body kit craze. I did this huge splitter with all the aluminum ducting, you know, all the air management in the front of the car. It has to go around the sides or right through the brake ducts or the radiator.
What do these feed right here?
Yeah, so these are your front brake ducts right here.
Oh, cool.
And then this goes to the bottom of the radiator. And then up in here, there's shrouding too that seals to the hood and seals to the fenders. I've got a removable tow hook for when we are racing. And, you know, if you do have to trailer it, you can strap there because it's such a low car.
Let's talk about this whole side skirt
Yes.
area here. What do you have going on?
We've got the exhaust exiting here, but I wanted to diffuse that and also support my side splitter off the fender there. This is all 50-52 aluminum right here. I think 080 thousandths. Same with the rear brake duct catches. Yeah, so we got functional rear brake ducts. Then also I wanted to tie into this body line kind of coming down. I'm looking at how can we make this look more organic and not fight the design of the car.
So is this a 315 square setup?
Not currently. Right now we're 315 rear, 255 front.
Well, cool, man. What else is going on out back? It looks like you deleted the bumper here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Out the rear. Obviously shaved the bumper. The bumper, the rear stub rails off the unibody actually stick through this panel, so I fully cut them off. I made in my own patch panels. It's all metal worked. It's a sub-mounted Braille battery. It weighs 11 pounds. It's lithium ion. I had to make remote charge ports out here to the rear panel. So this is where you access the battery to jump start the car or charge it.
Well, this thing is garage built, right? And,
it is actually.
And you said that this thing was, every piece of it was done in your dad's garage. Is that including paint and body work?
I did a lot of the grunt sanding. My dad's got a much better hand. He's got 40 years of experience.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I let him tackle
the panel gaps on
he tackles,
this thing and how straight it is.
So I did all the gaps. They're all welded, filed. I wanted good gaps. Datsuns never have good gaps.
Yeah, I'm excited to check out what this thing is all about inside and then underneath.
It's heavily aircraft inspired. I love to see the flared holes and the switches, and you know, I don't like to hide mechanicals. I like to kind of show them off. So this kick plate down here is on a quick latch. Push one button and that flips down actually, and you get to all the electrical is distributed there. So it's all marine grade circuit breakers. There's, you know, no fuses to pop on the chassis harness. So the trans is actually, interestingly enough, it's filled on the shifter there. So
nice.
My buddy Matt helped me CNC out that bezel, and then I integrated the top fill on the trans through the shifter. I poured it into it.
Man, that's so slick.
So, you know, you change your oil, you put it up on the lift, you just drain both at the same time and then put it down, and then you can top fill. No pumps, no messy stuff.
Let's talk about what's going on here at this instrument cluster. This all looks super nice.
Yes.
I love that this is like very driver oriented, you know? Is that a Honda S2000 push?
It is a Honda S2000 push button used on the Bauer Transmission's Phantom key.
And then you got your brake bias set up right here on the radio.
Yep.
Fire suppression system.
Full, throughout the car. Glove box.
Yeah, that's friggin' sweet,
for race gloves, of course. It's all magnetic.
Oh, wow. So that's magnetically latched?
Yeah, so I made all this stuff. So I wanted this to sit dead flush. I wanted this, and then it's all powder coated. I designed the hexagonal because everybody does diamond, and I love this hex.
Super
I bead rolled the rear fuel cell firewall.
Oh,
and
then can we pop this back hatch?
Yeah,
and check
absolutely.
that out?
Yeah, so I just took my template I made when I made this, because this is all handmade in my shop. And then
this is your batteries located under here because
batteries under here.
Most racing
fuel cells.
sanctioning bodies bodies will want you to have a bulkhead to
Yeah.
cover up your,
Yeah.
your trunk area where your battery is in the cabin, but
Yeah.
this is actually way more slick.
Just wanted to keep all the fumes and, if heaven forbid something happens under there, just keep it all out of the cabin, keep the driver safe.
Nice. And what's going on here?
Yeah, so that's your fuel and differential vents. They're active carbon in there, so it actually cancels out the fumes.
Oh,
so
no
your
way.
garage doesn't stink, yeah.
Well, cool, man. Let's pop open this hood and see
do
what
it.
we're
Let's
working
do
with
it.
under there. Well, this looks great. So this is a LS1, right?
LS1, yeah, it's a 04 GTO, so it shares the LS6 cam and intake. But mostly stock. It's stock internals. I've done a few little things here and there. Got rid of the steam port on the throttle body, lightweight flywheel, just a few things and a nice dyno tune. And
Well, let's be honest. At 2,700 pounds, 400 horsepower is going to be more than enough for this thing.
yeah, 347 at the rear wheels, 383 foot-pounds of torque right now.
Well, let's talk about what stands out to me right away, which is all these tower bracings. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is really cool. So you have your cage tied into your strut tower, which goes through the firewall.
Yep.
And then you have your strut tower tied into the frame rail down here.
Yeah,
But you have this big strut tower on steroids.
I wanted to be able to actually preload the corners from the top and see how that works. See if we can distribute the weight a little differently using those.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you could put tension on these.
Put a little
lines to
tension on those
actually-
rods, and it changes things a little bit.
I love all your bracketry and dimple die work, because things like that really make it look really nice.
It's-
High cut intake. Is this
it's-
coated or is this just
Yeah,
brushed?
so this is powder coated. My buddy Knox at Karam Concepts hooks it up for me, and we kind of go through. He's my buddy, so we can do different things. Look at cooler finishes. Yeah, it's just a hot rolled black clear coat over the aluminum. It kind of gives it a tint, but it keeps it so you can see the weld bead striations and stuff.
And these are your fresh air
Yeah,
vents?
so that's-
these come in through the front near the
Yeah,
radiator,
yep.
and then is there a tube that kind of follows along through
goes,
the fender? And
it
then-
goes through the actual factory unibody structure. Yeah, the whole front is sealed to the hood. It's widened to catch more air, and then I just welded on these scoops that go right to the vents, and they work awesome. You can see all the bracketry and stuff. Here's where I hid the proportioning valve. I've got the fire suppression in this nice little heat shield I made to keep heat
nice.
off the master cylinder. Since these are factory vents, I wanted them to still function. So I wanted them to have a purpose.
Oh,
and fabricated this is our coolant overflow.
Oh yeah, that's
And then
super
it kind of
slick.
streamlines the engine bay and keeps this functional.
Well, I'm excited to get this thing up on a lift. I want to see all the magic you've worked
For
underneath
sure,
this thing.
for sure.
Now that we got it up on the lift, you can really see these brake ducts and some of the nice duct work you have for the lower radiator, and the oil coolers up here. That's that laser jammer that you mentioned before, right?
Yeah. So this is what the brain box basically it picks up, lets you know if you're getting lit up, and then it sends a beep into the cabin, and then these refract and actually send out waves to cancel out the radar coming in, so you can't really get a reading anywhere.
So you got some duct work going over to the oil cooler, your intake over here. But I spied this thing when I was just walking by before, and man,
Yeah, it's
what is going on here?
It's the crown jewel of the undercarriage of the car. The right bank is feeding the left bank's muffler and vice versa.
So it
That's why
comes
it's-
down from the
Yeah,
exhaust manifold.
This header's coming down. We're crossing over and we're coming out here to this muffler. The collector's right here. It's down here, and you can see I even had to kind of window that one. I'm so out of space.
Okay, so it comes down from the collector,
Yep.
comes into the X
Yep,
here.
and then we cross over to this one and up into the 8-inch section MagnaFlows.
You obviously channeled this section, right, to come through the
Yeah. So
chassis of the car.
this is its own piece because it has the flex collector.
Yeah, that's
in
cool.
it.
It got the flex going right through
gotta,
the frame
gotta
rail.
have that or you'll have cracks. And then if you ever do, these still crack out sometimes even if they're done right.
Yeah. And what else you got going on suspension-wise?
As you can see, I've got the full billet Arizona Z-Car track pack kit. I've modified this cross member pretty heavily to get the roll center up, and it's all reinforced and welded.
Is this your damping for your
Yeah,
shock?
so normally you can't access the dampening adjustment without pulling the coilover apart and stuff, but on
Right.
track that doesn't do you much good. So I've I've drilled and ported in and then machined the heads of these to accept my adjusters. And so you come out here and, you know, just click, click, click. You can actually reach around the wheel without pulling the wheel or anything at the track and just make an adjustment. So it's a stock spindle sectioned to the coilover tubes, and then it's a Willwood front hub system with the 5-lug conversion, and then the 12.2-inch Willwood brakes.
Sweet.
The ducting is actually, you know, I've just switched to these quick turn ratio Apex Engineering steering knuckles and the bump steer adjustable rods. And then this brake duct is actually a bolt-on piece that I started manufacturing that directs all the air from that front duct we looked at right to the inside of this rotor. So we're actually centrifugally pulling that cold air through.
So your ducting gets a little bit more complex, huh?
It does.
Because it comes in through the front, and instead of just kind of like finding a way right in here to fish in and then go to here, you have it going through the body.
Yeah. It just made more sense when I started looking at it for clearance issues and trying to actually get to where it needs to be able to cool properly, was to do that in multiple pieces. And then, you know, you're turning with this heat tubing on there, and so eventually, you know, that'll fail. And this way you can just, you know, replace this small section versus this big section, pull the splitter off and all that. So it's all about function.
Well, what else we got going on down here? So you have LS1, I'm sure it's a T56,
LS1,
right?
T56,
so you got a 6-speed. What did you have to do anything to make that fit in this chassis?
No, I actually took off it's got a Hurst shifter on it that came with the trans, and we just thought, hey, we'll run that. But I had to machine that down on the sides to fit through the factory rectangular shift port.
And then even though you have a 10-point cage with gussets, I mean, these are really holding the car together,
so
right? That's the secret of the chassis rigidity?
Kind of, yeah, that's it, these aluminum. These are kind of safety drive shaft hoops, you know, just in case. And then I also mount the closeout panels I have off on that. All this is actually closed in full race trim, but you can't see anything with all that on there.
Well, it looks like we got some trick components back there. Can we pop this off or take a wheel off and take a look?
Absolutely.
First off, you can really see how much meat this car has. God damn.
315s on a Datsun, 11-inch wide CCWs. It's the most tire I could fit. It's even, you can see it's close at full droop. Sometimes you barely tap the inside. It's worth having it. I actually had to modify the coilover tubes to even fit inside. The wheel comes inside this.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
what coilovers are these?
They're Arizona Z car.
Okay.
The whole rear suspension is his billet track pack setup, Dave's, and it just gives me so much adjustability. It's crazy.
Again, more with your dimple die brackets.
Everywhere.
But you can really start seeing where these brake ducts come in. So from the side skirt down in here, it wraps through. And then picks up on what looks like a custom made.
Picks up, To do yourself any good with brake ducting, you need to get to the inside of the rotor.
Yeah.
I had one little, 1 square inch basically where you could get there, and so I made it hit the whole back side of the rotor and go to the one part I could with these huge.
So right into here.
Yeah, big old billet spindles there. So.
What else we got going on back here? You got
a lot.
Some fuel system, air fuel filter.
It's serviceable. This is actually going to change radiums come on board. Basically, the fuel filter needs to be in a location you can service it easily without having to get into any of that.
Right.
Sub-mounted braille battery with bolts on from the bottom, so if you need to pull the battery out, you do that. This is a master kill switch. It's a street car. Normally you would run this to the outside, so that anybody can see it, but I'm just gonna put a decal here.
And then what about this whole rear diff mount setup? Because this all looks like it's made out of some form of billet.
It's all billet. That again is Arizona Z car, but it utilizes an Infiniti Q45 rear differential.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and then Nissan Armada CV shafts actually.
I like how it's got the provisions for the sway bar to bolt to pop off and run through there. Super cool.
The differential cooler system is modified into that cover, so we're shooting cooled gear oil right on the ring gear to get splash distributed.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you can see the pump is up here. Those electronic Tilton pumps are kind of heavy, so I wanted it low and central as I could.
Cool. Let's take a look on the other side.
Yeah.
What's going on the driver's side? This is where you've hidden the fire suppression system down low, tucked in all nice and neat.
Yeah, it's really good for the weight balance of the car to just bring some of this stuff back. So it was a good opportunity since I had the space to do that and make this nice little rock deflector so we aren't gonna accidentally hit the valve.
Oh, is that all this is?
It's what it is, and actually there's a differential cooler right here. This is where I store that, and we're using kind of the turbulent air off the tire to cool that oil down, and it's distributed up through here and into the pump and the cover, the diff cover there.
Oh, cool. Well, nice, man. This thing looks super clean. It's got some pretty nice rubber on it. Have you done any burnouts in it yet?
I have. In fact, I had to test and make sure everything was cool and nothing could break, you know, testing for the customer. And so
Yeah, I think we should do a little bit of testing right here.
I think we might want to.
And it was built at home in a standard 2-car garage. I don't like that at all.